Abbot John, President Mary, President Michael, distinguished guests, members of the faculty, administration, and staff, parents, graduates, relatives, and friends of the graduates. I am honored, humbled, and overwhelmed by the degree just conferred on me. And I am very happy to spend the next 900 seconds or so with you, the 2015 graduates of St. John's University. In thinking about what to talk about today, I asked myself, I wonder what each of the graduates will remember about their graduation day 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe even 55 years from now. My memory flashed back to my graduation from SJU in June of 1961. I remember our class was supposed to be the first to graduate in this church, but the church wasn't quite ready. However, my class ring, 1961, was the first year that the bell banners were on it. The ceremony was held on the football field. It was hot and very long, and if we were there today, we'd be very wet. I couldn't wait to spend time with my family. Mom, Dad, and my younger brother were coming from a farm northeast of Foley. Morning chores had to be finished before they could leave. They hoped they would arrive on time for the graduation mass. One of my older brothers in his family had driven from St. Louis to help with the morning chores and to help the folks make the long trip to St. John's University. Over 35 miles. That was a long trip in those days. When the ceremony was finally over, we put my 2 suitcases, a box of books, and my 2 nephews, ages 5 and 4, in the back of the station wagon, and the other 7 of us crowded in and took off for home. As I mentioned before, it was a long trip. But what I remember is that my nephews were very, very good the entire ride. The previous Friday, my mother had gone to the hen house, selected 3 chickens, and prepared them to make a huge kettle of chicken soup that she would only need to heat up when we got home. Now, my dad really splurged. He even bought a couple of loaves of Johnny bread to supplement the delicious homemade bread that my mother always made. We were all very hungry, and as soon as we could, we sat down to a great meal of hot soup and bread. That's when we realized why my nephews had been so good. On the ride home, they had torn the end off of a loaf of bread, had reached in with their little arms and hands, and they must have taken turns because they didn't argue, and they had eaten the entire loaf of Johnny soft inside bread. There was nothing left but an empty crust. We laughed, shared the soup and crust. I remember it was delicious. Now, when I think back on the amount of time and effort my family spent to make that day special for me, it almost makes me cry. I hope I expressed my appreciation to them and wish I'd been more appreciative at that time. Another thing I remember is that my graduation was the last celebration that Evie wasn't with me. We met about a month after graduation, and she has been my best friend for nearly 54 years. Sorry, honey. On June 18th, we will celebrate our 52nd wedding anniversary. And Evie, I want to take this public opportunity to thank you for all the time that you have spent for me and for our family. And in fact, you Johnnies look so good when you're standing. Why don't you stand again, and let's give another round of applause to all mothers. Evie and I raised our family just a few miles from here. SJU is a great place, and I am so very grateful to belong to the community. It teaches you values, respect, and love, things that no one can ever take from you. You will be drawn back here the rest of your life, to the place where you spent years learning about yourself. But remember, there are always more lessons to learn, and they can come from the darndest places. Evie recently showed me an article she had found in her memory box that had been on our refrigerator door when our children were young. You might have heard this story. It goes like this. A father came home late from work again, tired and irritated. His 4.5-year-old son was waiting for him. The father said, "You should be in bed, it's late." "But Daddy, I need to ask you something." "Well, what do you want to know?" "How much money do you make an hour?" "That's none of your business. What makes you ask such a thing?" "Please tell me, Daddy, I have to know." "Well, if you must know, I make $20 an hour." Oh, the little boy's face just fell. Then he said, "Daddy, can I borrow $10? This made the dad even more unhappy. And he tells the little boy to march straight to his room and not to be so selfish as to ask for money to buy some foolish toy. "I work hard every day for my family." The sad little child goes to his bedroom. After about an hour, the father begins to think he might have been a little hard on his son. So he opens the bedroom door and says quietly, "Are you asleep, son?" A wee little voice answers, "No, Daddy, I'm awake." The father says, "I'm sorry, son, for getting angry with you. I guess I was just really tired. Here's the $10 you wanted." "Thank you, Daddy!" And he jumps up out of bed, reaches under his pillow, pulls out a 5, 4 ones, and 4 quarters, and with the $10 from his dad, he says, "Here, Daddy, I want to buy an hour of your time." I don't know if I've mentioned that I love math and football. Some time ago, I read an article that really made me stop and think. It was entitled "The Magic Bank Account." The author is unknown, but the article was found in the billfold of Coach Paul Bear Brandt of Alabama when he died in 1982. He's a football coach, so it's got to be good, right? I thought it would be the perfect math problem as you leave St. John's for the graduates. So let's begin Math 2015. Imagine that you won the following prize in a contest. Each morning, your bank would deposit $86,400 in your account for you to spend. However, there are some rules. Everything you don't spend in that 24 hours is taken away. You cannot simply transfer from one account to another. Only you can spend that money. And each morning, your account restarts with $86,400 to be spent this day. And rule number 5, the bank can say at any time, game over, you don't get any more money, account closed. Now, I know you finished your finals, or should have by now. I have a few questions, though, for you to do before you leave. Question number 1, how do you spend the money? Maybe you try to buy everything you ever wanted. Maybe you even buy stuff you didn't want. Of course, you would spend the money on your family and people you love and care about. You might even spend money on people you don't know. You couldn't possibly spend it all on yourself, right? You would definitely try to spend every penny because you know it will be replenished the next day. This is what you have to do to answer question number 1. Think of 5 ways you would spend the money. I was going to have you write it out and I'd grade them afterwards, but I'm retired, so. Question number 2 is easy. It's a true-false question. 50% chance of getting it right, fellas? The statement is, this game is real? The correct answer is true. This game is real. Each of us is a winner of this incredible prize. We don't always know it. The prize is time. Each day we receive 86,400 seconds, as a gift of life. At the end of each day, any unspent time is not credited for tomorrow. What we haven't wisely spent this day is forever lost. Each day the account is refilled, but God can dissolve our account at any time without warning, as the family and friends of the 4 students that we celebrate in memory today know. Question number 3. So what will you do with your 86,400 seconds each day of your life, however long it may be? These seconds are worth so much more than the same amount in dollars. Think about it. Remember to enjoy and spend every second wisely. Question number, I'm still on question 3. 4 is coming later. Spend time in prayer. I've been writing BG on the top of each new page when I'm working on my math explorations. The BG stands for our 15-year-old grandson, Benjamin George, who has been living for months in almost constant stomach pain that have baffled his doctors. When I'm working on math, I'm not thinking of Ben specifically, but I hope the time and effort I spend will count as a prayer for Ben. Spend time saying thank you like for the meals that are prepared for you by your parents, for the friend that was always there to listen to you, for the professor who spent some extra time with you. Spend time being grateful and expressing it in words and actions. Spend time appreciating your surroundings, like this beautiful campus with the wildlife, trees, trails, lakes, and this beautiful church. Spend time focusing on your senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch, a sunrise, a sunset, the sound of church bells, tasty food from Sexton and the Reef, the smell of freshly cut lawn and spring flowers, the sound of rain or a thunderstorm, a hug. Spend time seeing the good in everything every day. Let's try to get all we can out of the 86,400 precious seconds we have to spend. Starting this very second, my prayer for each of you is that you spend time digging for reasons to praise and applaud, and spend no time scratching for excuses to criticize or condemn. If you have nothing good to say, spend time in silence. But let us all spend time in laughter. When we laugh at our failures, they vanish in clouds of new dreams. When we laugh at our successes, they will shrink to their true value. If we laugh at evil, it will be untested. If we laugh at goodness, it will abound and thrive. May we never become so important, so wise, so dignified, so powerful that we forget to spend time to laugh. And now, my dear graduates, your final question. If you pass this, you can come up, otherwise just stay seated. No. If they don't pass this, they come up and they fold their hands like this. Now that you're graduates of St. John's, what does that mean? Well, author Bonnie Moore, in an article entitled Living Life, I think gives us some ideas of what we might write about. And I quote, "Life is not a race, but a journey. Be honest, work hard, be choosy, say thank you, I love you, and great job every day. Go to church, spend time in prayer. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. Let your handshake mean more than pen and paper. Love your life and what you have been given. It is not accidental. Search for your purpose and do it as best you can. Dreaming does matter. It allows you to become that which you aspire to be. Appreciate the little things in life and enjoy them. Some of the best things really are free. Do not worry. Less wrinkles are more becoming. Forgive. It frees the soul. Spend time for yourself. Plan for longevity. Recognize the special people you are blessed to know. Live for today. Enjoy the moment. So, my dear graduates, thank God every day for what was, is, and always will be. Listen closely now. What if you woke up tomorrow with only the things you thank God for tonight? Scary, isn't it? Before you go to sleep tonight, think of the things that you're most thankful for during this day. And spend time looking for more to be thankful for tomorrow. Be humble, be honest, be hungry for justice, be the hardest worker in the room. I hope you all take beautiful memories from your graduation days and your years here at St. John's. Regardless of what you remember today, be sure to spend time today and every day to show appreciation to your parents, family, and friends. The time that they spent supporting you over the years is the most treasured gift you will ever receive. Most likely your memories won't include chicken soup and Johnny bread crust, but they will be yours. Spend time being appreciative of memories, and wisely spend those 32,000 seconds we have left today and the 86,400 seconds we will have each day of our life. God bless each of you, my graduates. Go Johnnies!